All right, I'm here with Brian McArthur, and I've been talking to Brian for it's probably been a couple years now. Because I think the first conversation I had with you, I was actually driving on the way up to Chattanooga, so that's maybe been 2 or 3 years ago. But became kind of fascinated with Brian's business model because we get a lot of referrals, over time, and I know a lot of people get a lot of referrals, but not met a ton of people that built such a high quantity and systemized referral-based practice. So Brian's built quite the practice with virtually no marketing cost, high quality and quantity of clients coming in, consistent stream, and has a process to grow more and more of these referral partners in different industries, but primarily financial services space so far. So wanted to talk to Brian about it and see if we could share some tips that help some of you guys attain the same thing. So Brian, thank you for taking the time to be here, brother.
Oh, thanks for having me. Yeah. Our first conversation was after I enrolled my 1,000th client, and I just wanted to meet the big thinkers in the industry, and I reached out to you. Not sure if you'd even call me back, and I was just very appreciative of the time that you've been so given with your time. So, and it's great to be here. So I built the practice almost exclusively around the financial advisor community. Ultimately, whatever success that we're having is really based around making it not just about the financial advisor, but building a process to merge with their process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so tell me how long have you been Medicare focused, solely Medicare focused?
I sold my first policy in April 2016.
Okay, and when you started that, you started building, how long did it take you to get to 1,000 customers?
About 6.5 years.
Yeah. If you were starting all over, knowing what you know now, how long do you think it would take you to get to 1,000?
Well, I think the next 1,000 will probably come, all things equal, in 3 years. Could be a little bit less, maybe 3 years.
Yeah. Awesome. So it's completely consistent process, and obviously people want to get into the how-tos and things like that, but got to 1,000. What's the average client like that you're getting from financial advisors? And obviously you're not doing any of the financial advising. You're separate from that, doing Medicare. You're the healthcare side of the aisle, and getting in with those guys, building that relationship with them, where they will open up the books and send you these. And and obviously one of the things that I think is the most important that you talked about is it's a quantity game on the referral partner too, because there's roughly 3 to 6 a year that they have turning 65. I think it's important for people that are in insurance to realize this, that financial advisors don't always have as many clients as you would on Medicare, because they don't need as many clients to make the same income because it's a higher margin client. So 3 to 6 a year roughly on average turning 65, but to get some insight into what those clients look like when you get them, how do those conversations go on average, just so we can see the quality of what you're working with there.
Yeah, no, great question. One of the things I always share with the financial advisors is there's no trophy for this. I can't document it. I suspect I'm enrolling more high net worth clients into Medicare than anybody in the country. I can't prove it, but if I'm not the top, I'm probably up there. Now that sounds fancy, and I always really hope it impresses my mother-in-law. But what you and I know is that the revenue is basically the same on a Medicare client, whether that client lives under a bridge or they're the guy that built the bridge, right? Yeah. But to the extent that higher net worth people have unique needs, and we all know they do, I don't think anybody's guiding that client through Medicare education to an actual result under the watchful eye of the financial advisor more than my team and me. So anyway, what does that client look like? Well, if they have a financial advisor, they've been a good saver, right? Wealthy people never use the word wealthy to describe themselves. You call them a good saver, nobody gets their feelings hurt, and they kind of like that. Yeah. But one of the things I try to impress upon advisors and agents is that I can tell you, I've enrolled people 7, 8, 9-figure net worth. The 9-figure client is just as confused at age 64 as any old Joe. And they're just as appreciative of the guidance at age 64 from wherever it comes from.
Yeah.
But, these financial advisors, the clients trust the advisors with so much more than this topic. I'm not here to say Medicare is the biggest issue in a financial plan, but when it's important, it's really important. And it's complicated, it's messy, it changes all the time. There's a deadline, right? And the clients appreciate, if I look at how many clients engage us and become clients of us because of the introduction from the financial advisor, that is the litmus test, has just proven to me that how much clients appreciate their advisor demonstrating unexpected leadership at a time of complication and time sensitivity, and just saying, hey, we got this covered. Here's how we do it.
And that's the cool thing too, is you're in the process, your goal is to make the financial advisor look good for bringing the topic up. It's not to, try to use them for your gain solely. It's a mutually beneficial relationship. One, it prevents them from talking also to maybe a Medicare broker that does do annuities and tries to access some of that portfolio or something, right? Because you're not doing that. But like you had told me, that by the time you're done talking to a financial advisor, they're not even second guessing that, because you've kind of got the presentation of how to approach them dialed in. And also something that I learned yesterday was, you were talking, is you've figured out how to find more and more of these people that will have those conversations with you through social and some other aspects. So that's important. So, well, the cool thing too that we're going to do is do a webinar on this, like we do with many things. When we find something that is valuable to agents, we want to figure out how to get that out there to them. And of course, Brian's graciously offered to do a webinar, and help more people access this. So because it doesn't really come at his expense. There's so many financial advisors out there. He's working with, how many financial advisors are you working with, you think, right now?
Gosh, I wish I knew the exact, I've done enrollments, one or more for hundreds of advisors across the country. And I've got some financial advisors and teams that send us, 10 a year,
Yeah.
And I don't force outcomes. Everything we do, the litmus test is everything we're doing reflecting well on the advisor? And if it is, really everybody wins. And I just let the clients organically report back what the experience was like to the advisor. And I don't tell them to do that, but naturally it happens. And the advisors just keep on sending clients, because financial advisors are looking.
That's a great tip right there. If you have financial advisors, if you can get the customer to say, well, hey, because we're always trying to train people to ask for referrals from their clients. But one of the greatest things they can do is just give feedback back. Thank you for sending this to Brian. He was extremely helpful. Right. Their team was great. I feel so much better about this. And, then they think, hey, I just got kudos, and all I really did was refer them to somebody that I figured they could trust.
Right. And it goes the other way as well. When clients thank us, we immediately remind them, boy, you should really be thanking the financial advisor.
Yeah.
One of the things I share with clients is I say, my only claim to fame, if this even is one, Justin, is you'll probably never meet anybody who's met more financial advisors in their life than me. It's always been my natural audience. And you probably don't even need me to say this out loud, but personally and professionally, you're with one of the best, and the more advisors you work with, the more you can say that sincerely, right?
Yeah.
But, we are the spoke, the advisor's the hub. Everything we do has to reflect well on the advisor, because they're quarterbacking everything with a dollar sign.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we're going to do a webinar. If you're watching this post-webinar, we'll have a link in the description on YouTube below. But if you don't see that down there, you can always message us. And once we have a date set on the webinar, we're going to get that out there. So maybe after this video, depends on when you're watching. These things live in the internet forever. So just reach out to us. And then if people were trying to get in touch with you directly, Brian, for advice, what would you have them do?
Well, besides attending the webinar, there'll be opportunities to engage me after that. Our website is designmymedicare.com, and there's a calendar link up there, or they could call the office and we could probably start some dialogue.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to do that soon. Thank you guys for watching. hit up Brian, follow him on LinkedIn. Has a lot of great tips and a super awesome practice. Love to highlight practices like this with unique approaches. And we will be talking a little bit about some of the other referral groups, not just financial advisors, on the webinar that Brian's been tapping into as well. So talk to you guys soon. Thank you for watching.
Kidding me, man? This is the greatest conference all time. It's like nothing I've seen before. Coming back next year. The business is rapidly changing, and if you're not educating yourself, you're going to be left behind.
Great thing about Medicare Con and really any of these types of events, this one's so big, is you have all these people from chasing different pursuits in their business coming together and joining and sharing information. That's the best part of this. The conversations I've had with these guys right here, things that I wouldn't get just talking on the phone or anything like that. And the content here, it's been awesome. And Justin's done a great job, man.